Welcome back to Iron Spoke Garage. We're in the middle of tearing my 2023 Street Glide apart. What we're doing is we're getting rid of the chrome. We're powder coating everything. We're going to DNR Customs. So I already got the front exhaust off. We're going to pull the rear exhaust. There's two 1/2 inch bolts up on top here, and I have one more 1/2 inch bolt on the bottom. So we're just going to get up in here. No, they're not supposed to be this loose. I pre-gamed this and I already loosened a lot of things up. But there's a lot more that I didn't do, so we will continue to roll through it. Now, when you're pulling these off, be very, very, very careful that you don't drop them like I did on the front one, like that. Always have yourself a little cool magnet. Boop, we got it. Okay, we got the top one. Let's get the bottom one. Now these are the Vansenheim Big Radius 2. They come in chrome, they come in black. We are going to blacken these out. On the inside of this is a little dog bone that kind of holds the bolt and the exhaust. Alright, exhaust is off. Pull it all the way up. Make sure you also disconnect your O2 sensor before you pull it out. This is the dog bone I was talking about. We found one on the floor before we started recording. I was like, oh, what's that? Huh? Yeah, that's a dog bone. All right, we're gonna set that aside. Ooh. Take our 2 bolts so we don't lose them, and keep everything together. I'm going to take my 2 manifold bolts. I'm just going to put them back up here. Okay, so big tech tip here, take your time. Do not cross thread these. If you cross thread these, you're going to have to take the entire head off, have it machined just to get those out, and everything else. You just made a 15-minute job into a 5 or 6 day job, depending on how fast the machine shop can turn everything around. All right, so as I said, all this chrome is coming off. Now let's get we're going straight to the air cleaner. We're going to keep going. Don't force anything. Yes, you got to use some muscle on it. And we're rope. So as we take this air cleaner off, there's going to be 2 black hoses on the back. What those black hoses do, what they're supposed to do, is burn off any excess oil. It's supposed to bring in any oil that didn't get burned off. They're supposed to shoot it back into the cylinder and burn it off. So I have, I'm a dum-dum. So every so often everybody has a dum-dum moment. I'm not afraid to admit my dum-dum moments. On the back of this air cleaner, it's been years since I put this air cleaner on. There's a bolt on the back of it. So I can just sit here and spin and spin and spin and spin and nothing happens. So yeah.
I think I helped you put that on, didn't I?
I think so. By the way, I got Joel from the One Stompers right behind the camera there.
Hey-o!
He's helping me out today. If you like the artifact stuff, he actually goes out and finds some really cool stuff. Well, I was down in school in Florida. He met a guy that also is a big artifacts collector, and I can't remember his name. Dennis Dan is how the people at Aristocat Artifacts remember him, because he goes down there all the time. But I was able to go scuba diving and found a megalodon shark tooth. That was actually really cool. I wish I would have found more. I only found one. But what did we find out there? What, 3-point-some million years?
Yeah, you found one. That's all that matters. I'm sure there's some people that go and don't get nothing. I mean, that's the way it is. That's why it's called hunting and not artifact finding.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this because, man, there's a lot of corrosion, a lot of yucky stuff on this thing. Alright, so we're going to do this last one here.
Now, some of that corrosion, is that due to you being down in Florida and close to the coast?
Probably. My front forks got really pitted down there. There's a lot of sand, a lot of salt. It's really, really hot to ride, so I didn't do a lot of riding. I rode. This one was actually missing a bolt. So we're going to have to replace that bolt. Gravy. No, it wasn't. It fell. Alright. So air cleaner's off, which needs to be cleaned. Well, this is getting powder coated, so this is going on the powder coat table. These are all getting powder coated, going on the powder coat table. Alright, I'm going to take our Vance and Hines. You can see, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but this is all this sand and everything, that's from Florida.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the focus.
All that grit and grime in there, that's all Florida.
Hang on, hold it right there. Let me just, since I can test some stuff out.
You can do, hold on.
I think it's on auto.
Yeah, no, it's on manual. So that's going to be your zoom, and the front one's going to be your focus. There we go.
There we go. All right, resume.
All right, so all this grime and everything, all the sand, that's Florida. All that grit. This thing needs to be seriously cleaned. So, good thing we're doing this. By the way, this thing also has 20,000 miles on it, so while it's apart, guess what we're going to do? The 20K service.
Sweet.
So all in, may as well keep everything going good, right? Okay, what we're about to do is we're about to pull the cam chest plate off, cam chest cover plate off, which is basically right there in front of you. There are, 9 bolts. It doesn't say to take them off in sequence, but it's always a good idea because when you take things off in sequence, you're going to put it back on in sequence and you risk any damage of bending anything. Alright, so a tech tip. I already drained the fluid on this thing. There's no transmission fluid, oil, or primary fluid in here at all. What I could drain. There is still going to be some in here, so in order not to make an entirely huge freaking mess, we're going to take a piece of cardboard, jam her up underneath there, grab my wife's bread pan. So yeah, if you don't like your wife, no, I love my wife. My wife's awesome. And get it, you don't want it to flap down like that. Alright, so, just so you know, I have the manual open. Whenever I'm working on a motorcycle, I always have the manual, whether I know how to do it or not. I think I've said this before in the Honda build. It's always a great idea to have the manual open because there's things that, yeah, you could think you can memorize, but honestly, you can't. So we're going to just crack this in order. Number 1. Number 2, you'll see me looking over at the manual because I want to know where my next one is. Number 3. Number 4. There are a lot of different YouTube channels out there of guys working on bikes. Number 5. Chris Street Glide out of Florida. I think he's just north of Orlando. That dude's been doing it for like 25 years. Dude's freaking awesome. Number 6. Check out his channel. He does a lot of great shit. I'm not nowhere near his level. One day I hope to be. But we all gotta start somewhere. Cruzy's Original, another great one. He does a lot of cool builds. Steve from Sick Baggers YouTube channel. I think that one is Southern Illinois Custom Baggers. I believe. But I could be wrong, but he does a lot of amazing channels, or a lot of amazing things to show us what's going on. All right, now that we have all 9 loose, we're really going to get into it. We're going to pull them all out. Another tech tip, what I do. Oops. All right, so tech tip, what I do is I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. I'm just going to punch 9 holes in it because I got 9 bolts, right? I'll just take a punch it through. This way, the same bolt goes back in the same hole. I don't have to memorize which ones, if there's a longer one, shorter one, whatever. Oop, that one didn't go very good. Alright.
Is it necessary to do that, or is it just good practice?
It's not necessary to do that. It saves you a lot of time when you go to put it back together. This way, so like I'll label this cam cover. Now, if you look over here, what I did. This is for everything I did on the left side, some of the right side, like my floorboards. But my primary cover, there's 13 bolts, right? So as they came out, I just did that. Here's my Jiffy stand one. Here's the Jiffy stand bracket. This is, and I have top and bottom. I just make a map for myself. This is my heel shifter. I make a map for myself so when I go to put things back together, it just makes life that much easier. I'm not searching, oh, does this bolt go here? Does this bolt go there? Nothing like that. So now that we had this done, let's pull our manual back up. Stupid computer. All right. And number 1. There we go. Now, since they're all loose, we're just going to go all the way out with them. There are guys that use power tools. I'm not one of those guys. I've heard different stories about different things. So I know for a fact if I'm forcing something and I can feel it, that means, hey, stop, dummy. You're not doing something. I have no problem calling myself a dummy. Because I've been blown up a few times. After many years in the military. So yeah, I forget things. That's why we have a manual open. Oh, and really watch. See how long this takes? Seconds. Seconds will save you hours later in life. Eventually we're going to get to the upper rocker box, the lower rocker box. These tappet covers, they're all coming off. Everything's getting powder coated. Like I said, DNR Customs, those guys are amazing. If you need anything powder coated, look those guys up. It's a veteran owned company. They give great prices. They do amazing work.
Where are they based out of?
They are based out of Rhineyville, Kentucky. Which, for me, is amazing because it's right down the road. He's got his own, he's got a pretty big shop. I think, well actually, we're going to try and film a lot of the process of this, like getting the actual prepping and powder coating and everything else. So everybody can see the entire process of how this goes. Number 5, where you at? You are down here. Now when I was in school, we had to take this off. God knows how many times. But our engines there, while you're learning the inside components, all your motors are dry. So it doesn't, not until later on in school do you work with a wet motor. Another thing with the school is you gotta think about it. All those Harley Davidsons that are there, MMI, UTI, whatever they call themselves these days, are not owned by them. They're owned by Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson gives the schools the motorcycles they want their technicians to work on. So I worked on everything from the Softail 72, which, not Softail, Sportster 72, which is a cool little bike. It's got that old school paint job on it, all the way up to Ultra CBOs. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. I had a good time in class. Now you can tell the people that cared about what they were doing, and you can tell about the people who didn't care about what they're doing. Well, you can go through MMI, UTI, I think, yeah, it's UTI now. You can go through their entire course, and you can graduate. Doesn't mean that you're going to be a Harley Davidson technician if you choose to go through the Harley course. There were 13 of us going through the assessment. 3 of us got it, if that tells you anything. It's not easy. You have to pay attention. You have to do your homework. You have to watch the videos. You have to prepare the day before. Everything you do in school is timed. So, and what they do is they take Harley Davidson's job standards, what Harley Davidson thinks it's going to take to get a job done, and that's the time you get to do that lab. So if you don't prepare the night before and you're looking up torque specs and how to pull stuff off, how to go to a top dead center, all that kind of good stuff, you'll never make it. But also, guys, so that doesn't mean that those guys that didn't pass, doesn't mean they didn't get a job at Harley Davidson. Alright, there's 2 ways to become a technician. Go through the school I went through, or you can work at Harley Davidson and get your technician's rating that way. Alright, so we have all 9 of our bolts out. Now, it has a gasket on the back of it. This gasket's been on there for 20,000 miles. So, we're going to take a soft blow hammer, kind of hold it, give it a good tap. See all the oil that comes out? This is our tech tip. This saves cleaning hours and hours and hours of cleaning. And if you ever want to know what the inside of your can compartment looks like, there you go.
Excellent.
This will go on to the rag to the stuff being powder coated. So, like I said before, we are going to have oil that comes out of there. We're going to let this sit there and drain for a while. The next thing we're going to take off, we're going to take off the transmission cover. Which, we're going to have to take the clutch cable off from the perch. So I'll show you guys how to do that, and then we'll come back over on this side and get this cover off.